Hello, Mastery P&id and others schematics. Practical approach on how to examine, interpret, draft P&id and other schematic diagram. Today we shall be looking at chapter 4, lesson 1. Some P&id symbols. What is P&id symbols? Or what are P&id symbols? P&id symbols are a universal accessible set of standard symbols used to represent instrument, equipment, process line, graphic display, drawing, and documentation, and so on. However, some industries have developed their own customized symbol for specific project that must meet their client approval. The graphical shapes and symbol and interpretation and definition used in any project on a project are often presented on a standard symbols legend diagram or legend sheet. However, unlike the isometric diagram, fitting symbols are not used to describe P&id. The P&id uses standard and code symbols to represent fittings, control loops, vent, drains, sample point, relay valve, steam trap, isolation valve, and could also show line size of pipes and material code. Legend and sheet symbols or legend and symbol sheet. The legend and symbol sheet of P&id provide information about set of shapes and symbols for documenting PFD and P&id. It provides detailed information of all the standards and code symbols used in the particular project. Every P&id standards and code provide the rules for identification and numbering of P&id components, general symbol, equipment symbol, piping symbol, and instrument symbols. Where symbols outside the standard and code are used, it must be clearly defined and displayed on the legend and symbol document or lead sheet. A lead sheet or legend diagram can be shown in this form. Here we have the instrument symbols. Almost all the instruments used in this particular project are shown here. This is an indicator symbols. This is a computer indicator symbols. This is behind control symbol, as you can see on the dotted line. Then we have the temperature indicator symbols, the pressure indicator controller symbols, and so on. This is another form of a legend sheet. Okay, here we have the valve symbols. We have the gate symbols for this project, the actuator symbols, we have the control diagram symbols, then the miscellaneous symbols, the pump symbols. Example of some P&id symbol. We have the line P&id symbol. Lines signify the process stream, energy stream, electronic signals line, pneumatic signal, and so on. They represent connection interface between units and can be considered as piping or pipe, which interconnect unit or equipment. Understanding the lines P&id symbol helps in the reading, interpretation, and drafting of typical P&id process plant. Below are some examples of line symbols. We have the pneumatic signal, discrete on and off. We have the hydraulic signal, and so on. So we also have the connecting component of fitting, which also form part of line symbols. Here we have the reducer, the removable spool symbols, also as presented here, the line symbol, which are also the piping and connecting shapes. We have the major line, which is thick. Then we have the flanges, we have the end caps, we have the end caps. So okay, that shows that we have different type of end cap. We have the flanges, we have the union symbols, and so on. Let's pick up any P&id project document. Try as much as possible to match any of the line in a P&id project document with that of standard and code P&id document. Okay, for example, for illustration purpose anyway, as shown in figure 4.3.1.3. Here we have the process line symbol. Here we have the electronic symbol, which is dotted. Then we have the pneumatic symbols. Characteristically, the process lines are usually thick line. The electric signals are often dotted. Any line with double strike on it represents a pneumatic line. However, the connecting component of fitting also form part of the lines. Here, show the fitting of P&id symbol. Here, we have the reducers. Here, we have the end cap. Here, this is the flange. Furthermore, this is the pneumatic line. This is an electronic line. This is a process lines. This is another process line. This is rotary valve symbols. A rotary valve, rotary valve, rotary valve, check valve, end cap here. Have a gate valve. This is rotary valve symbols. This is a globe valve. We have butterfly valve, a flange valve, a gate valve. Okay. We have a bulb valve here. We have a relief valve. Okay. Angle valve. Then I have my slope here. I have my end cap here. I have my gate valve here. I have a reducer here. A globe valve. Three-way valve. Valve and P&id symbol. Valves are used to control the flow of fluid through pipe, channel, duct, tubes, and outlet. They are often connected to lines and equipment. The use of valve to control the flow of fluid in a process plant can be manual or automatic. Hence, we have manual and control valve. Understanding the valves and P&id symbol is vital to the interpreting and drafting of P&ids of a process plant. Some examples of valve symbols, as can be seen here. These are some examples of valve symbols and displays in a typical legend drawing. Another form of legend valve symbols display here. We have different type of valve symbols here too. For illustration purpose, we have some example of some valve P&id symbols. Let's pick up any P&id. Try as much as possible to match any of the valve symbol in the P&id project document and compare to the standard and code P&id document where applicable. Here, I have a gate valve here. I have a bulb valve, symbol of bulb valve. Then I have a globe valve, which is the symbol of globe valve. By handpicking it, it is easier to match the gate, the bulb, and the globe valves of the project P&id as designed with the standard and code P&id document. However, in the process plant design, valves are selected based on the necessity. The type of valve used in any design depends on the fluid condition and its intention to achieve its goal. Valves are also considered as part of connecting component of fitting. This scope of work does not cover the design, selection, and configuration of valve. Globe valve, butterfly valve, a control valve here. I have a bulb valve, a gate valve, example, so on and so forth. Here displays instrument P&id symbols. Most plant control rooms use shared display devices that show the output of multiple instruments on a virtual display unit screen. Operators can visualize the functioning system and unit, instrument location, and can make changes to alter an operation in the process line via the virtual display unit. Most of the shared display unit comes in the form of supervisory control and data acquisition, otherwise called SCADA. Figure 4.3.3.1 for illustration purpose shows some example of shared display devices and instrument P&id standard symbol with name or type of tag appearing on it. Here, this symbol represents the one that is feed mounted, the one that is panel mounted, an instrument auxiliary location instrument, and dual function instrument. For the distributed control and shared display symbols, we have distributed shared display here, which is panel mounted, feed mounted, and this is one is a shared control auxiliary location as well. For illustration purpose, this is an example of instrument that is feed mounted instrument, panel mounted instrument that are mounted inside a bore, inside an enclosure. Let's pick up any P&id trace as much as possible to define the shared display device / instrument symbol on a P&id project document and comparing to that of the standard and code symbol where applicable. Figure 4.3.34 for illustration purpose. Example of some shared displays devices can be SCADA or HMI identification symbol in a P&id. Compare figure 4.3.34 P&id project as shown here with the shared display devices and instrument standard and code symbols in figure 4.3.3.1. Obviously, identify some field-mounted instruments that are panel-mounted and others with their respective tag. We shall discuss extensively on tagging in chapter 10. Identify units that are field-mounted or panel-mounted in figure 4.3.3.4. Field-mounted, distributed shared display panel-mounted, distributed shared display field-mounted, distributed shared display panel-mounted, panel-mounted instrument, field-mounted instrument, field-mounted instrument, field-mounted, distributed shared display panel-mounted instrument, field-mounted instrument, panel-mounted distributed shared display, panel-mounted instrument, panel-mounted, field-mounted instrument, field-mounted, panel-mounted, distributed shared display, panel-mounted, so on and so forth. Pump's P&id symbol. Pump is used to transport liquid through pipes, channels, ducts, tubes, and outlets. They are connected to lines, units, and equipment. Understanding the pump's P&id symbol helps in interpreting and drafting of P&ids or process plants. This is an example of pump connection layout. This figure is for illustration purpose. Let's pick up any P&id and try as much as possible to identify the pump symbol on the P&id project document from that of the standard and code P&id symbols where applicable. Here, this is a section of the P&id and we have a pump symbols here. From the P&id's standard and code symbols, I also have different type of pump symbols here. But looking at the diagrams, looking at the P&id diagram, this symbol represents a centrifugal pump symbols. This is a typical example of pump identification symbol in the P&id for illustration purpose. The figure here shows that the centrifugal pump P&id symbol on the project P&id as designed corresponds to this pump symbol from the standard and code P&id document. Example of column P&id symbol. Columns are used to separate fluid component mixture at various temperature or at varied temperature. Understanding the column P&id symbol is vital to interpreting and drafting of P&id for illustration purpose. Example of package column identification symbol in the P&id. Figure 4.3.4.3 show that the columns unit of the P&id symbol on the project P&id as designed correspond to the package column symbol of the standard and code document. In our P&id, this is the graphic symbol used in the P&id diagram as compared to the standard and code symbols. These symbols represent packing column. So this unit operation here is a packing column. Computer functions. This symbol describes computer programming function. Understanding this symbol is vital to reading, interpreting, and drafting of P&ids. The content is limited to the computing function symbol and does not cover the mathematical definition or detailed application of the function. Some example of computer P&id symbols. We have the AND symbol, the average symbol, the root extraction symbol, the convert symbol, proportional gauge symbol, and so on. Let's pick up any P&id. Try as much as possible to identify the computing function P&id symbol on the project document from that of the standard and code P&id symbol where applicable. For illustration purpose, we have example of some computing function symbol in this P&id diagram. The figure shows that the computing function symbol on the project are designed correspond to the root extraction symbol in the standard and code P&id document. There are still more P&id symbols that are not described in this lesson. However, the information provided here will go a long way to help on how to identify P&id symbols and their meaning on any P&id diagram by matching and comparing symbols in the P&id design document to the actual standard and code P&id symbols. And sometimes the symbols are defined and provided in the legends and symbols sheet by the P&id design specialist. I leave you here with a quick exercise. See you again in chapter 5.